Good morning, Overload Nation. Adrian here, and I'm reading this article on Quartz.com, or Quartz, I'm not so sure, talking about 500 million people are watching videos of video games, which is amazing. It's an amazing proof of concept for the games industry on YouTube, like Let's Plays and such. And the article talks about Felix Kjellberg, hope I pronounced that right, Kjellberg, or Pewdie Pie, made $7 million last year in 2014, just by doing Let's Plays and such like that. And I just want to say a few side notes that $7 million, in the grand scheme of things, isn't really a lot, considering that some business owners or entrepreneurs or such like that would probably earn a few million a year or a few million a month. Like Warren Buffett in 2014 earned like 13 billion in a year, but that's a complete different ball game. But so $7 million is a lot of money. You can buy a lot of hamburgers and games for that, but in the grand scheme, not really that much. And talks about how he has 38 million subscribers, by contrast to other channels like Taylor Swift and Kanye West having like 15 and 2 million each. But I have a feeling that those two channels would have a lot more higher revenue for each advert on the what they call keywords and the cost for an advert. Let's say some company would have to pay $100 per every 1,000 views on a Taylor Swift video, as opposed to say 70 or something on a Pewdie Pie video. But the overall point is, thus far in this article, there's this massive business idea, this massive business structure that is people playing video games for money via ad revenue, by building a community around that person playing video games. And because people like Pewdie Pie earning $7 million a year is not something to discourage you from saying, oh, such and such is doing this, or this person's doing it, or that person's already doing it. It's a proof of concept to say and to prove to yourself that that business model, that idea, is a sound plan, and that you can do it too, but do it in your own way. What things would you do differently? You can go beyond this 7 million. You can go beyond 38 million if you put your mind to it and apply to it and learn ways of doing that and building, and not competing but building and creating, as opposed to competing and destroying. And the article goes on and talks about how the audience for gaming video content has grown over the past 2 years roughly, between 2013 to 2017. So we're looking at around 300 million people out worldwide. I think that's inclusive of the United States. Worldwide in 2013. So 350 million or 300 or so million people. In 2014 it's 400. 2015, that's like 450 million. And we're seeing something like just under 800 million people by 2017 watching Let's Plays and videos like this, which is amazing growth. That's 4 years, or 5 years by this, but 4 years difference, and you've almost doubled, which by any means, by any metric, is amazing. And we're going from like 300,000 to 400 million, 300 million to nearly a billion, which is amazing. And, you know, that's a massive audience out there, and that's only going to increase, surely. People like video games, and it's escapism, and it's fun, and it will just only grow, which is an amazing proof of concept. And the article talks about Kjellberg is a public face of a vast yet largely unknown business. And yeah, this is what I was saying earlier, about people will always want to watch video games, and this is just proof of concept. And we have around 125 million people in the US consuming this kind of data, which is amazing. 125 million, that's just around a third of the population, give or take a few million, because it's what, 310 or something? You know, a third of the population. And the phrase video game content is broad in this article. It talks about competitive games like esports and live streams where players broadcast themselves playing the game, and we're broadcasting information and top 10s and tips and hints and stuff like that, and cheats and bugs and funny things and mods or montages of gameplay, which is amazing. My problem with that is a lot of gaming channels and a lot of people will upload videos that over the course of a year would get like say 10 views, and that'll discourage them. it's not a case of the game or the quality, it's a case of the value. What value does that video have? If it's just someone playing their game and that's generally it, then there's no intrinsic value in it. There's nothing to give people a reason to watch it or a reason to share it. And this is the basics of marketing and content marketing and viral marketing, where content is king, but there's got to be value to it. It's got to enhance an experience or entertain or educate or something like that, and then it needs to be shared correctly. You can't just upload it and then hope for the best. You've got to post it elsewhere on social media and give it some momentum. Just having an upload in itself, it has no real intrinsic value unless the intrinsic value is derived by a lot of subscribers, which in itself is just confidence that a lot of people will watch it and it'll churn some clicking. And watching other people play video games is popular in the same way as watching other people play soccer for leisure and fun. Though video game viewers also learn and pick up tips to improve their own performance. Yes, I remember when I was working at a game studio back in October here in Wolverhampton. One guy in the studio was watching a Twitch feed of this girl playing a game. I can't remember what it was, or I can't remember who it was and all the rest, but there was like a lot of people watching that, and that had, unfortunately, that sex appeal because it was a female gamer playing the game, and you just don't see these kind of things, and you're gonna get all sorts of views because for the leisure and the fun. People also like to see people's reaction. And it's that personality which makes you different from what makes you different from everyone else out there. But what's also interesting about this business model is that game developers and publishers can also benefit directly and indirectly. For example, a lot of the game developers I spoke to on my daily dev talk said that one way they promoted their game was to give YouTubers Steam codes in order to do a Let's Play series. And some would charge. I know that some channels do charge to create videos, and some of them are like $100 per video, which is like, that's a lot of money. So it has its benefits elsewhere to get that publicity and that exposure in the gaming industry itself, because it's a very inclusive industry, and to be part of it you really need to add value and to share. And this is what I myself am doing and trying and building towards. And it's not like every business, like everything else out there, it's not a get rich quick scheme or a overnight sensation. Things do happen like that, but everything takes time. There's that phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. Just like every other business or every other channel, it wasn't built in a day. Every now and then there's a channel that comes along and posts a video, like that woman with the well, it's not really gaming, but that woman who played the music and her breasts moved in tune with the music, and that went like viral and got her like 1 million views overnight. But that's completely different. But the point is, it does happen. But for like everyone else, including Pewdie Pie, it takes time. You have to build momentum and know what you're doing, and you know, it's not all about chance. If you know some marketing stuff, then that really helps. There's also that exposure, which is amazing. Getting donations and also helping other people. More than half of the viewers through live Twitch teams donate as well. So it's twitching and all the rest is very good. Hey, twitching is very good for donating. It's very helpful because it's that community, and it's like getting the information and data across in order to build a community. So yes, that's what I thought about this article on Quartz.com. And it seems that this business model is a great way to get ad revenue, but I have two great qualms with the ad revenue system in general. One is that, say, for every 1,000 views, half the users generally would have something like ad block. So they in general do not see the advert, so you do not get paid for that. So 50% of your viewer base don't see the advert in which you can be paid. And then about 50%, the 50% left is generally divided between you, Google, YouTube, and I think something else. So in the end, you get something like a third of 50%, or something quite low in the end. So that's probably why that Felix's $7 million could be a lot more if the system was a little bit different. Which, to be honest, you can't really complain because it's a lot of money at the same time. But you know, it's just that it's not very efficient, not very effective, because a lot of people don't see the advert for various reasons, and you don't get full the click, what's it called, the cost per click. You don't get the full amount entirely because it gets divided by so many people. So that's what I thought of this article on Quartz, Overload Nation. What do you think of this entire business model? Do you think it's profitable? Do you think it's worth your time? Are you doing it right now? Tell me what your thoughts are. Great to know what they are. Subscribe if you haven't already. More videos to come.